that you can wrap around the bottom of your spindle. And then this is not going to slip. Now, what Catherine would be doing, and then I gotta finish it. This is an unprepared rod that I'm using, so it's going to be strange looking here. But if you have enough extension, and sometimes you see them with a real short point here, or a real short nub, and you can't wrap around that very well. So this way you can wrap it wherever you want. Just take a couple of turns, and it's not going to be pulling and unwinding at the base. This is doing it a pretty primitive way, okay? This is not assuming that you have a nice piece of brown cotton waiting for you there. But some of you are familiar probably with putting it on a bobbin, or putting a beginning piece on the bobbin. And if the whole thing is tapered, as this is, it's very slightly fatter here than it is here. That way, you saw how easily I slipped it off when I took it off the, yeah. You wind up with a pointed cone. Now, some people like to wrap some in a figure 8 up and down. That is a secure way of wrapping it, but excuse me, what will happen is that you're not going to be able to slide it off as easily. And just a slight taper, which is not something that you are aware of when you buy a beginner spindle, which is just a dowel. And maybe the top is pointed, maybe the bottom is pointed, maybe it extends through, maybe it doesn't. There are all kinds of options, so it's a rather complicated little instrument. But if you do that, then you can catch it lightly and then continue to wrap it. And it will be behaving itself. Plus, if you drop it, it's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to have big loops all over your floor. Okay. Now, what you are spinning is going to depend more on the preparation that is done before you get it to the spindle. And it will depend on what kind of yarn you are spinning. In the beginning, if you've done no spinning whatsoever, you're just delighted that it holds together. You don't care if it's thick or thin or whatever. It's, look at this, you know. Yay, I did that much. But you can do it very efficiently if you have the spindle that is right for what you were trying to do. Any questions about that part of it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, all of you have something that you want to spin with?
I didn't bring a spindle. I was just going to clean wool. So
that's what
Letus is. She's practicing.
What kind of a spindle is this?
This is a bottom whorl, and it is this is the one that you buy. It's the cheapest spindle you could get. It is it is not really tapered, that I can tell.
Do I need a cup hook at the bottom?
Only if you want to wrap it securely.
I've never used one.
Yeah, well, see, this one, I can put in my bag and it'll go anywhere, and it's not a problem. Because if I had, applied it back on itself and slid it down, which I didn't, because I was.
So the only purpose of the hook is to stand the yarn?
That is where the actual creation of the yarn occurs. That is where it comes from spun yarn to unspun fibers. And it takes place either at the tip of the spindle or at the bottom of the, I don't have this one, or at the bottom of the whirl. And this one has nothing for you to wrap it around.
Right.
So that you wouldn't have that third point. I'll get it back to you in a minute.
You're fine.
You wouldn't have that third point to work with. So this one, as long as I've got it secure on the bottom, simply by wrapping in the same direction as I was spinning, and with a half hitch here, then I can merely, if I want to put it down, I just do this, and this is unspinning it. So this is plying it. This is what it's going to look like plying. So that one, I can do that with, and it can bounce around anywhere I want it, and it's not gonna be untangled, because all I have to do is slide it back up and create the space. And you wanna have your half hitch up at the top pretty easily, so that you can undo it and begin spinning again. And you can spin for as long as your arms will do it.
So the half hitch is the same, provides the same
It's a
thing
brake.
as
It's
the
a
hook.
safety brake.
Right,
Yeah, it is more secure than the hook,
right.
because if you wrap it around the hook, if it rolls around on the floor, it unrolls from the hook, and there you've got it.
So if you don't have a hook, do you have to hold one end and then hold the other end? How do
No.
you?
No, one end is being held by
But
the
that
bottom.
one doesn't have that.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a crappy hook.
This one doesn't have it.
Oh,
It's a crappy hook.
that looks like a paper towel holder now to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
That looks like a
It could
great
be a-
paper towel
It could
holder.
be like a bobbin holder. with
Yeah,
a line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I'll bet that's what I tried to learn on first, is why I threw it away and said, oh, hell no.
That's what I'm thinking. Hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah.
And I'm talking mainly about bottom whirl, because that's the one I prefer and the one I enjoy. But a lot of people who have bought the ones with the hook are fine. They just have to be more careful. Yeah, they don't have the safety brake of the wrap.
So I think the little turkey ones are cuter anyway.
Because if you don't put the safety brake on and you go to grab more fiber, it's going to
No, I'm
unwind.
not collecting these. I have enough.
I see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So between wrapping on the bottom, which is, ready to go immediately, and putting a half hitch on the top, it has nowhere to go.
Yeah. But if you have a hook, it could just easily unwind.
Yeah,
I gotcha. I got it, man.
you could do the same thing with a hook. And
Yeah.
if I know that I'm going to put it in my
That
bag,
feels really good to get it. I see what she's
well, it
saying.
saves you time. And if you're doing it only on a drop spindle, time is kind of important, because if you can do it quickly, and well, if you have a yarn preparation rather than just a blob that I pulled out of the bag, you want something that you can do efficiently, and the slow portion of it is getting it wrapped around the bottom. You need, say, about 2 wraps. And that's not gonna do anything as long as this tension is still involved. And actually, if you want to make sure that nothing is going to get apart, you'll see this is a little icon on some spinning books and yarns or anything. You'll see a drop spindle or a hand spindle, which they're trying to make people say instead of drop. because it implies that that a lot more dropping is going on than you want to.
Well, don't they drop the spindle actually as it's spinning? I've seen
Yeah.
people just drop it. While they're standing, they're dropping it and spinning
Yeah,
the length from the floor to their
it doesn't matter how
arm.
long this gets.
Yeah.
This could get from there to the floor. The problem comes, then you have to do something called storing. And that means you figure 8 on your fingers to take up some of the slack or rewind onto the spindle. But your object is to get it onto the spindle. So usually I work with something about a length from here to here because it's in my arm length. So if I did some more of this, as I said, I've got all unprepared stuff here today because I was going to come and prepare.
Do you want a little bit of this?
Anna Lucy, you're always prepared.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is easy. This is like pie.
There you go.
There you go.
I like this gray.
And I just add it on to the other stuff and get it out of the way so I don't kind of get into
Different color helps.
yeah, right. Come on.
I see videos of these women walking with the drop spindles spinning away.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah, and also the thing called the kick spindle that you kick with your feet as you walk. This is too well prepared. You gave me too much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I should have wrapped it around. I'm not being efficient.
You need a nest.
Hey, that's why it's called
As I said, I came unprepared.
They were thinking of me when they named it.
And if it stops, you just reach down and throw it again. And you keep adding.
Your colors out.
I can feel it slowing down as I'm pulling. So I just keep doing it. And then when you decided that you've got enough, that you really need to wind it on because your arms are getting tired. And you just slide it off. You don't have to unknot anything. You just slide it off the hook. And we're back to wrapping on. Get a couple of good wraps here. And now I would start making a little bit of a cone, a little bit of a triangle. More wraps at the base, go to the top, and then head back down again.
So you're spinning your spindle clockwise.
No, I'm not, I'm just wrapping on right now. I'm not spinning. This is
Right,
fun.
but you're turning it clockwise, right?
Yeah, I'm turning it the same direction as I spun it. And then when
So
I
you're
say-
turning it in Z.
Yeah. And once it gets to be the same length as the length to the tip of the spindle, then it's time for the half hitch. So the spinning actually takes place like it does on a wheel or anything else,
Between the spindle and your hand.
and your hand. Yeah. Because in this case, my right hand is merely doing the stretching.
Somebody picked it up.
And preparing it. This is where I'm designing. Okay? And this is the result of it. So this is where I can continue to make it thinner if I wanted a thinner yarn. That all happens between your hands. Between your supply and between your controlling hand. And you can use either one you want. It's not exactly a matter of right-handedness and left-handedness. I'm just a little quicker to spin with my right hand, so that's why I keep the supply there. And you see, I never let go here.
Once you're good at it.
Whatever I've created,
It's like interesting.
after it passes through the controlling hand,
That learning curve.
whatever I've created, I don't lose because I don't let go here.
You don't let go where here, in your pinch?
At the top,
Yeah,
yeah.
where the spinning is taking place. Spinning is taking, I'm preparing the yarn that I want between my hands, and then I'm allowing it to be created down into where the action is going on, where the creation is going on. So I wound up with something that's now fairly respectable looking. Okay. And if I applied that, simply by twisting
Oh,
it back,
look at that.
this is what it would look like as a single ply.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me see that. That's beautiful.
Then it could start out with something that's kind of ugly looking, which is what I did.
Well, thank you, Anna Lucy. Maybe you can give some one-on-one to people that need it.
Gotta figure out how to